about his passion about music and teaching. So please welcome Billy Valentine.
Jack, am I on? All right, thank you very much. I want to ask you something. What's the first thing you think of when you see or hear the word dope? Right? A lot of people say, what? Illicit drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, heroin. Some say weed. You know, if you're a scientist, perhaps the first thing you would think of is an agent that changes the electrical properties of a semiconductor, right? Phosphorus, gallium, you know, boron. And if you're a sports enthusiast, perhaps the first thing you think of is blood doping, right? Increasing the red blood cell count in the blood for increased VO2 max, right? You see that a lot in cycling or Olympic sport, horse racing, all right? But like you guys said, dope is probably most associated with cool, legit. We saw a dope performance just a little while ago, didn't we? We've seen some dope presentations. But in pop culture, and probably even more so in hip-hop culture, you don't often see dopeness associated with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Right? It's just something that you just don't see. You'll see dopeness associated with products, with performances, lots of things, but not science and math. I'm going to do a quick illustration of that concept. Now, everybody recognizes these faces, don't they? And these are people who have been considered or are considered to be dope MCs, right? Queen Latifah, Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne. These are just some of what you would call dope MCs. But in the science world, who are the pop culture icons? Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, right? Stephen Hawking was even a Simpsons character. And I know everybody's read A Brief History of Time, right? Right? So, but here's some more so-called dope science people. James Clerk Maxwell, Mary Curie, Richard Feynman, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson, Niels Bohr, and Leonard Susskind. Now, these are giants. These are people who are amazing physicists, okay? Here's a few more. Ed Winton, string theory guru. Sylvester Gates, right? Erwin Schrödinger, Murray Gell-Mann, Werner Heisenberg, Brian Cox. These are huge people. But if you were to take a poll in America, it would be really hard to get people to be able to identify these people. Right? But the first slide would be easily identifiable. Right? Now, in mainstream hip-hop, one of the primary themes you'll hear about is money, isn't it? Always talking about money. You know, how much money I've got. Look how I throw money around, right? I'm always after money. But unfortunately, the vast majority of us won't be amazing rappers or producers. The vast majority of us cannot dance like the Moot Crew. It's just unfortunate but true. So we got to work. And the government shows, in this study from the ESA, that from 2000 to 2010, STEM-related growth was up 7.9% compared to a 2.6% growth in non-STEM-related work. Right? And the projected growth from 2008 to 2018, 17% for STEM versus a 9.8% growth in non-STEM. Right? So that means, clearly, if you want to make money, STEM is a good way to go. You know? So, it's worse than that. We're falling behind. Right? We've heard that earlier today. Our STEM performance is getting worse. We're lagging to our competitors in the global market. So much so that even the government recognizes. Now they're saying, you know, we've really got to get STEM under control. We need new STEM teachers. We need better students. We need more graduates. Okay? So this is a big deal. So this picture here is really amazing. To me, it's a culmination of an amazing amount of power and passion. Right? This is the Solvay Conference of 1927. You can see Albert Einstein down there. Heisenberg's in there. There's just an untold number. There's 17 Nobel laureates in here. Marie Curie has 2, one in chemistry, one in physics. So when I look, it also represents one of the great debates in science history. This is the classical versus quantum mechanics debate between Einstein and Niels Bohr. Awesome. Lots of quotes out of that. But what if you took this and added a little bit of hip-hop to it? If that's tough to see, I just... If that's tough to see, there's Kanye West up there, and he's chilling next to Lupe Fiasco. You can see Eminem a little smug down there in the middle row, and Royce the 5'9" is there giving a shout out to Rihanna. Drake is looking off in the distance, and very dignified with skin disorder on his hand. Jay-Z down there in the bottom. So what would that look like? What would it look like if you could combine the passion and discipline, rigor of science, right, with the passion, discipline, and beauty of hip-hop? You get what I call dope science. Right. Dope science is dope hip-hop, dope beats, dope flow, with academic subject matter. Right. Dope science is made for people who don't love science. It's made for people who aren't interested in physics, calculus. Right. It's made to bring those people into the fold of academia. Okay, that's what dope science is about. So what does the world look like with dope science in it? Now, imagine today, kids getting off the bus, public school, going home, and their little girl, she's singing every song to Nicki Minaj's song. She knows every word, every lyric, but she doesn't know her timetables. Right? She doesn't know anything about history. Right? What would it look like if kids came home singing songs about timetables, algebra, geometry? What would it look like in a high school if you had a freestyle battle that consisted of scientific concepts, or a college campus that put on science-based or mathematics-based rap shows that attracted people from everywhere, not just academics, but all people? What you would end up with is empowerment, liberation. You would reduce the stigma of academia and hip-hop culture. Right? You would empower people by giving them more options. You can do art or science. You can do anything you want. The more you know, the more power you have. But most importantly, it's necessary. We need this. We really need to get it together with respect to science and mathematics. The world does not seem to be going away from that. It seems to be increasing. Now, if we could do that, I think we would end up with a cultural revolution. Okay? Greater social capital, greater productivity, greater finances. That means less stress, less crime, better position in the global market. And so with that, I'll give you an example of dope science. Volume, please.
I gave shape to your lands. Name one person who stands against me. I am the key to galaxies. Without me, you cease to be. For fusion becomes an illusion when losing attraction that all passing bodies must see. The intricacy of your theories still leave you limited ability with simple machines. Mechanical animals tethered to a planet so meek in the scene while I flow between your systems and then some. Limited and winsome ideas about origins, what you conceive. Ruling the greatest of things, fueling collapse of the massive, moving the passive, forming all that you see. Best understood, gen relativity, but yet remain a mystery. At the horizon, draw all things to me, to singularity. Ultimate warping, space-time distorting, thwarting all quantum unity. So there's nothing new to see. Just look around and you will see that everything you do will be subject to the pull of me. Gravity. Gravity. can afford, so I reckon. Electro carries the torch as I beckon. Select your color of choice from my spectrum. Then I let you see your section of space-time. Waste time with me as I make time. See, I can play time back to the blank time for things that you can't find in modern day times, ancient Big Bang times. Let me explain why I set maximum speed through the vacuum and display duality as I go through slits of your kids. Do particles split like infinite bits so interference fits your experiments? Newton said I behave like all rays, but Einstein wanted to ride on my waves. Feynman said all things go all ways, but some over histories is still such a mystery. But I digress, let me get back to what I do best. Travel through space-time, no rest. From gamma to radar, light bulb to quasar, nighttime to day, our influence stay far in the past, so memories last. You look back inspired to see what transpired, so limits of knowledge depend on optics. Topics of distance, we set the limit. The intricacy is something you can't miss. It's electromagnetism. That fuels the sun from hydrogen to deuterium. The spark's begun and it will run for billions of years till fuel is gone. Now come with me to change elements we decay from. Bottom too strange, too down, rearrange. Quark flavors never stay out of the lower states. That's how you can say through nuclear decay you can carbon date or further speculate how dinosaurs ate, what determined their fate, or irradiate things that people hate. Watch for nuclear waste, half-life decades, or you may have to wait eons before it's safe. Something to contemplate when choosing which bombs to make. Schrodinger tried to say, if you put a cat away into a box that was locked so it can't escape, wait 1 hour, say. During that time, the feline is in all states because of how I behave. On to the strong, fusion is on. The force particle you call gluon. Strength is great, I snap when I break. Energy I make, matter is replaced. Fission is the mission, but fusion is the future. Using me will truly be a test of constitution. Together we make up the fundamental four. Go forth, discover what we have in store.
Thanks.